What if not having it all figured out is exactly where you're supposed to be right now? Because here's what I'm seeing and what I've been feeling deeply in my own life since this late January. There is a massive cosmic reset happening, and a lot of people are either white knuckling through it or completely confused by it, or they're numbing out because it just feels like too much change or too much energy too quickly. If you understand what's actually going on energetically, not just through the astrology transits, but through the lens of human design, you will stop fighting this season and you will actually start using it. You will understand what it's asking of you, and more importantly, you will understand what this transit is trying to gift you. So today we're diving into one of the most significant transits of 2026, the Saturn Neptune conjunction, and the human design gate that it activates, which is gate 25, the gate of spirit. This gate is where your higher purpose lives, and right now the cosmos is running a masterclass in it. Hey everyone, I'm Dana, your transformation guide. I help you understand the complexities of your human design so that you can step into the full, unapologetic fulfillment of who you were designed to be. Let's get into it. On February 20th, 2026, Saturn and Neptune came together in a cosmic embrace, what astrologers call a conjunction. They met at 0 degrees of Aries. Now, if you know anything about astrology, 0 degrees of Aries is not just any degree. Aries is the very first sign of the zodiac. 0 degrees of Aries is literally the very first starting point of the entire astrological wheel. The absolute beginning, the blank canvas, the let's start again signal from the universe. Astrologers have been calling it the creator degree, and the term being thrown around for this transit, the Great Reset. But here is what is fascinating when you follow the transits through the lens of human design. We get the same information, but with a different layer of nuance and, what I think is crucial, different timing. In human design, big transits don't just land on the exact date marked on the astrology calendar. They arrive earlier and they linger, leaving a nice, slow-lasting imprint on our consciousness. Saturn and Neptune both moved into gate 25 on January 28th. Which is this gate at the 0 degrees of Aries. So if you've been feeling something shifting actually since late January, maybe something stirring underneath the surface of your day-to-day life, maybe something you're questioning, maybe something that's changing or crumbling or maybe getting clarified in another way, we've already been inside this energy for weeks now before the conjunction on February 20th officially hit. And I also want to share something from my experience because I think it's important. After following astrological and human design transit weather very closely for a few years now, I still sometimes catch myself quietly hoping that I'm going to wake up on one of these big transit days and there's going to be some like flash of light and woof, and everything just clicks. All the hard work we've been putting in pays off overnight. And like, I just wake up and we've arrived. That never actually happens. Nothing huge actually happens. What actually happens is more subtle. It's more personal. And over time, it can be more profound. These transits come in slowly and they move through you and they leave behind this permanent imprint, the next step of your evolution already laid at your feet. And the question is whether you recognize it or not. So let's talk about what this Gate 25 transit means. Gate 25 lives in the will center in human design. It is called the gate of spirit. And in its highest expression, it's the energy of connecting with source intelligence to fulfill your divine purpose, to live out the truest story of who you are so you can show up for the role that you came here to play in this greater cosmic plan. This gate is literally where your higher purpose lives. But here's what makes Gate 25 so beautifully complex. It's not designed to operate alone. Its electromagnetic partner is Gate 51, the gate of shock. And together they form what's called the channel of initiation, or in quantum human design, the channel of higher purpose. And this channel actually bridges two incredibly beautiful energy centers, the will center and the G center. Both of these centers are rooted in the energy of the heart chakra. Think of the G center as your high heart, the seat of your soul's direction, your identity, your love for life. The will center is your personal heart, your ego, your drive, your individual self. And this is the teaching right here. The ego is not your enemy. The shadow expression of this energy, the will center, is operating out of alignment. It is the ego running the show for its own agenda. Me, forcing, pushing, striving at the cost of everything and everyone around it, including yourself. This is an expression of the ego that has quietly lost its faith in source and believes it's completely and utterly alone. But in the evolved expression of this gate, the one that this conjunction is calling us toward, is the ego is in service to the higher heart. My story, my gifts, my unique self in service to the greater good. Me in service to we. This is actually the path of what you might call the inner shaman. In the shamanic tradition, the great quest is not to actually eliminate the ego, but to stop letting it be so loud that it keeps drowning everything else out. When the ego steps into the right role, it becomes one of the most powerful forces for healing, initiation, and transformation. Your unique, irreplaceable story becomes a gift to the world just by living it fully. And Gate 25 says your higher purpose is not separate from your everyday life. It is your everyday life when you're in alignment. So drop in the comments below, what has feeling shaken up or disturbed since late January? Is it your relationships or your sense of identity or direction? Because I have a feeling after we talk about Saturn and Neptune specific roles in this video, it's going to make a lot more sense for you. So let me know down in the comments below and we can compare how everybody is doing. Let's dive into Neptune now. In human design, Neptune is the planet connected to your spiritual purpose. It's the energy that helps us see through the veil, to remember on a soul level why we actually came here. When Neptune is activated and in transit, it is asking us to reconnect with that sense of deeper meaning. It's whispering, you didn't come here by accident. You came here with a story to live out, a frequency to embody, a way of being that the world needs specifically from you. And here's the thing I really want to land for you guys. Your spiritual purpose and your life purpose are not two separate things. That's a separation that the mind creates to make purpose feel more complicated and distant than it actually is and has us running around in that hamster wheel our whole lives. In the energy of 2026 and beyond, this new paradigm, we're being asked to merge all parts of ourselves, the spiritual and the material, the inner world and the outer, the who I am and the what I do. And Neptune's invitation in Gate 25 is this: stop waiting to fulfill your purpose later, when everything is figured out, when you feel ready, or when you get a moment to breathe in your life. Your purpose is not the destination. It's not what you do, it's who you be. This transit is asking, can you let yourself be fully, visibly, unapologetically you, even right now in the middle of maybe transition or what feels like a mess in your life? Now let's talk about the great revealer, Saturn. Saturn often gets a bad rep. People hear Saturn transit and they brace themselves. But I want to reframe this for you because Saturn is not here to punish you. Saturn is here because it deeply, ferociously wants your dreams to become real. The reason Saturn can feel so intense is that it will methodically remove everything that is standing between you and the fullness of who you are. It's not a cruel planet. It's precise. Saturn sees the safety blankets you've been holding on to, maybe the relationships you've outgrown but are too scared to leave, the version of yourself you've been performing because it felt safer than the real one, the job that's quietly draining your life force because deep down you know it's not aligned for you for where you're going. And Saturn says, enough. You don't have time to keep shrinking. What Saturn is really doing is helping you return to your signature frequency, the energetic blueprint that is uniquely, undeniably you. Saturn strips away the noise so that you can finally hear yourself clearly. And when Saturn and Neptune come together the way they are right now inside Gate 25, this conjunction feels like a prayer. Saturn and Neptune, show me everything that is standing in the way of my growth. And the universe will answer. And sometimes it will answer in ways that feel uncomfortable, even painful. Maybe a job ends for you, a relationship shifts, a belief system you've been leaning on for years suddenly stops holding weight for you. That is not failure. That is not inconsistency. That's Saturn doing its job. Now, the shadow expression is the human pattern of just willing your way through life. Doing, striving, forcing forward out of fear that if you don't stop pushing, nothing will catch you. That is the ego that has forgotten the connection to source. That is the energy of someone who has quietly given up the idea that they are held in something way larger than just their individual selves. The evolved invitation is the opposite. It's the audacious act of planting your stake in the ground and saying, I can't keep pretending this part of me is who I am, this performer self. I can't keep doing the work that doesn't align with what I'm here to do. I can't keep shrinking to fit a version of my life that was never built for the full expression of my energetic signature. That's a scary thing to say. It requires real faith that the universe has got your back. But that faith, that trust that source will catch you as you step more fully into yourself, is exactly what Gate 25 is here to build. So what do you do with all this? Here's my invitation for this potent window, and honestly, for the next 2 years, as the imprint of this conjunction continues to ripple outward, as we adjust to it, become a researcher of yourself. Start paying attention to where you feel friction. Where do you feel a low hum of resentment or exhaustion or quiet dread? Where does your energy contract instead of expand and soften? Because those places are data for you. Saturn is using them as a flashlight, pointing directly at what is out of alignment in your signature frequency. Notice your emotional reactions in your everyday life. Not to judge them, but to get curious about them. Be the researcher. When you feel deflated after a conversation or drained after a day of work or a knot in your stomach after a decision that you made, those aren't random feelings. Those are places where the version of you that you've been performing is bumping up against the version of you that you actually are. Your higher purpose, it's not some grand title or specific career path. And believe me, I have been searching for my purpose for 11 years now. Your higher purpose is to live your human design, to embody your signature frequency in whatever environment you're in, whatever role you're playing, whatever season of life you're in. It's not just knowing what your design says about you, it's actually living it, integrating it, letting it change how you speak, what you say yes and no to, and how you show up in your relationships. And I want to challenge all of us, because myself included. How many of you are so interested in human design and learning all about your chart? But how many of you are really applying it? How many of you sacral beings, the gens and the MGs, are actually waiting for external stimulus for you to have something to respond to and being patient? Come on, guys. How many of you projectors are really working on your genius and waiting for that invitation and responding to the right invitation without the fear that you won't get one in the future? How many of you manifestors are actually putting up boundaries and actually informing those around you of the creative hits you're getting and the things you want to pursue? How many of you are being audacious enough to own the fact that your energy needs boom and bust cycles? And how many of you reflectors are being serious about the environments you need to be in and the amount of time you need to process and think over decisions? Are we actually applying our human design? I'm going to challenge us on that. When you actually embody your signature frequency, when you commit to the ongoing, sometimes uncomfortable, but deeply rewarding work of becoming you, who you were designed to be, you don't just gift yourself, you become the gift. You initiate the people around you simply by existing in your authentic frequency. That's the channel of the higher purpose at work. That's Gate 25 in its full, radiant expression. This transit is such a teacher, and the lesson might not feel like a gentle one during it. So as you move through this season, I want to leave you with this question to sit with. Where in your life have you been willing your way through something that just no longer aligns with who you truly are? And what would it feel like to really trust that source, the universe, God, has you, even if you let it go? If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it with someone who's going through a season of change right now, because this teaching is for them, it's for all of you. And if you want to go deeper into understanding your own human design and how to actually live your signature frequency, the link to work with me is in the description below. Drop your thoughts in the comments too. I would love to read them, and enjoy this beautiful transit, and I will see you on the next video.